Each time a woman stands for herself, without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands for all women, says Maya Angelou. Join us this Women's Month as we bring you a special feature, hashtag The Power of She, where we will be in conversation with some of South Africa's most phenomenal women from all walks of life. In collaboration with the British High Commission, each week we will bring you a range of important conversations that speak directly to women in South Africa and beyond. From how to be a successful female entrepreneur against all odds, to survival through artistic expression. Catch it all here on Woman Radio this August. It's hashtag The Power of She. Women, own your power. Right here on Woman Radio. Well-organized men, for we are.
I watched my mother learn a new language in her old age. Her tongue did not settle in her mouth. I didn't know you could teach someone a language you are not fluent in. It was my father who taught my mother. He taught her syllables with his hands, taught her metaphors with his absence. He embedded jargons on her wrists, put an accent on her throat, loved it when she spoke, couldn't understand when she spoke, loved the sound of it anyway. My mother sounds like whipping when she speaks. The earth vibrates when tears fall from her face. Anger erupts in me when she is sad. I want to become lightning when she mourns. I want to strike my father on his chest, forbid him not to speak, although I have many questions. My tongue cannot move when I am raging anger towards him. You see, he taught me a language too, one he is fluent in. His tongue cannot move when there is blood on the door handle, so he counts on his feet to walk away. My father is leaving, but he never takes his suitcase with him. Doesn't know how to be completely gone. Doesn't know how to stay. He hates the sight of blood. Our faces tore from all his walking away, so he cannot stand looking at us. I don't know what language or languages he was taught in when growing up, but I think he mastered them all. I'm a storyteller, born and raised in Venda. I fell in love with storytelling through just watching my older sister. She was in the same line of work. It's really sort of interesting in that when I was watching her and watching how passionate she was about what she was doing and how much of herself she invested into her craft, that is precisely the thing that got me passionate about storytelling. And from a very young age, I was able to see that the thing that really propels someone to even a state of excellence and success is being passionate about it and really just fully giving yourself to the craft. And that's something that I've held on to throughout the years as I've been growing and learning new things, is to apply myself completely. And yeah, I hold that in strong regard.
Touch. Why GBV? So I don't think the very next day, you were then the storyteller, the international the voiceover artist, the acclaimed award-winning person. There was definitely a process, in between these two moments that we're speaking about. Can you walk us through that? So you're passionate, and then what?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't happen in a flash. It's not
unfortunately.
Snap your finger
Yeah.
and then you're this person. No. There's been a lot of years that have gone into learning, because for me what's been important was to look at people that are within the industry but who are also successful and try to get a sense of what is it that they have been doing in their life, in their path, that has helped them to get where they are. And I think getting a sense of what that might be, has always been the thing that I thrive for, to say I'm thriving to work hard, to constantly look at people that are doing better than me, to learn from them, to drink from their cup, And I've always been a strong believer in that for somebody to mentor you, for somebody to sort of walk the path with you, they don't necessarily have to be someone you're meeting for coffee. You can look at someone's life. And I think, especially in the age that we're living now,
Yeah.
there's so much that's out there for us to be able to look at, even literally from the comfort of our own homes and our own spaces, to look at someone, to study, to really just invest ourselves in the path to seeing ourselves grow. And I think that's an important aspect. You have to have the hunger for growth. You have to have the hunger to see yourself becoming better at what it is that you're trying to achieve. And that's really been the path for me in the past years.
Looking at how, people use their craft or their skills or their passions, right, to speak about different things. As Hope, what is, the message that you convey or try to convey in the work that you do?
So my work primarily speaks against gender-based violence. I mean, I touch on other themes, but I think primarily, or at least for the past years, it has been speaking against gender-based violence, and that's the message. That's the message of my work and the message of my craft. I think a lot of it has to do with growing up and a lot of things that I experienced and a lot of things that I saw happening around me. I could even go as far as saying those experiences, not only have they contributed to the fact that this has become my primary theme, but I can even go as far as saying they've also contributed in the fact that I am a storyteller. In as much as my sister has had a huge influence, in the path that I've gotten myself into. But I think a lot of those experiences have also shaped the person that I am, even as a storyteller, because in the very early stages, when I was starting off, I realized that writing for me was a way to express myself in a way that I'd always struggled to express myself with other people. But when I was writing, I was able to really say what I was feeling and to really just express the way that I was thinking. And from writing, it went on to then, sharing my work on stage.
And, and what kind of impact, do you think your work has on people?
When people tell me their different experiences with interacting with my work, whether they've read something or had or particularly had me on stage or on any other platform, I think the general sense that I'm getting is that it allows for them to look at certain things differently, to look at themselves differently, to look at their world differently. But I think the important thing that's sort of resounding in different people is that it challenges their perspective to a point where they're able to ask themselves questions that are difficult. They're able to introspect themselves and to really look within themselves to see. And I feel like that's such a, I'm not sure how to put it, but I feel like that's such an important part of transformation in any sense. Like when we begin to look within ourselves,
Yeah.
and we begin to ask ourselves questions that are difficult, questions that are uncomfortable, I think all of that contributes a lot to questions like, how can we heal? How can we move forward? And I think especially if you're looking at issues like gender-based violence, because there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of trauma around that. So I think looking at ourselves and just saying, okay, I acknowledge maybe this is something that I've gone through, or this is even worse, in worst cases, this is something that I myself have participated in. But how can I change? What are the things that are making me to be this person? Why am I so violent? Like asking those questions, bringing yourself to this place where you're asking yourself questions. I think it's essentially what I'm trying to say.
And would you say that, perhaps It's with ease, right? That people can ask themselves those questions because maybe you yourself have asked yourself these questions and you are inviting people into, a conversation of questions, reflection, and seeking for answers.
I don't think it comes from an easy place. I don't think it comes with ease. I think it's difficult work.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's difficult work. It's. I think as human beings, we hate discomfort. Um, we we prefer to be comfortable,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of questions that have to do with um, when you're looking at introspecting yourself and allowing yourself to acknowledge the difficult things about yourself and even the difficult things about your past. I think this is hard work. I think this is work that is difficult, and I think that goes to speak to exactly why it's not every day that you're like, oh no, let me just sit down and introspect and see how bad I've been.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy, and I think that's why probably it's not something that people are actively doing or doing like regularly because it's uncomfortable.
What's your hope for women?
I'm teaching myself currently, and I think it is that we come to a place where we realize that there's nothing wrong with us, and it's something that I like I said, I'm still learning, like, and maybe just to sort of elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot that's been put on us, and that has affected so much in how we look at ourselves. That has affected our self-esteem. We look at these things and we just feel like maybe like there's a lot of inadequacy that is attached to a lot of what society has imposed on us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like we are okay.
Yeah. We're all
We
right.
are.
Wow. I am gobsmacked. I really don't have the words for what you've just shared with us. I really, really do appreciate your time, Hope. I appreciate, the work that you are doing and the work that you are still going to do, for women in this country, for the people of this nation, and the international stages that you will find yourself on. And I think I speak for everybody here in saying that I am glad and I am happy that you are doing what you came for. And I do hope that mantra, begins to speak to our listeners at home that they too, must do what they came for. Because in that, that's where the true power, the true essence of our very being lies.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those powerful words. I appreciate it so much.
It's an absolute pleasure, and thank you once again for your time. And I do hope you don't become a stranger to the digest, and let us know where you will be performing, what you'll be doing, so that we can tune in, and continue with those conversations and questions that at times we were too afraid to confront.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And just a quick shout out to the British High Commission for making this possible for me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right.